Hello, bonjour. Welcome to my channel. I'd like to welcome you here. I hope you're having a great day and that you're healthy and well. Subscribe to my channel. I would really appreciate that. And if you hit the bell, you'll never miss a notice. You know, I want to leave you with a thought here before I get going with my card. It says in John 14:27, let me read that to you. It says, "Peace I leave with you, my peace I give you. Not as the world gives. Do not let your hearts be troubled, and do not be afraid." I take great comfort in those words. I take great comfort in the Word of God, and there are so many promises in there, not about prosperity, but just about we're not alone. He is with us. He knows what is going on. He cares, and I just want to leave you with that thought. Do not let your hearts be troubled. Do not be afraid. Be safe. Be smart. Do what is wise. But do not be afraid. Do not be afraid. I'm not going to lie. I have moments of anxiety. I was diagnosed with breast cancer last year, and I've just gone through a year of treatment. And because of that, my immune system obviously is somewhat compromised. My children have made the decision that they, along with our grandkids, are quarantining themselves away from me for a couple or 3 weeks. And that's really hard. They just live down the street. But I understand, and I would rather err on the side of caution than not being wise. So yeah, be wise out there, be safe, but do not let your hearts be troubled, and do not be afraid. So on that note, beautiful you. I just did a YouTube on masking, and you know what? I want to do another one featuring this stamp set and featuring her against a sunset on a beach scene, and it's so peaceful, kind of fitting for where we're walking. Oof, I'm so emotional here. Kind of fitting in what we're walking in today. So you know what? Without any further ado, let's get to beautiful you. All right, now here we go. Do you see my mountain of supplies? We're going to need some sponges for sponging, obviously. You're going to need your 1.5-inch punch. Obviously, I've had this forever. Blender pens, removable adhesive, Memento, Daffodil Delight, Whisper White Pigment Ink, Night of Navy, and I'm going to have all the supplies written down below. Rich Razzleberry, Mary Merlot, Crushed Curry. Are you scared yet? So Saffron, Beautiful You, and High Tide. So let's get going with our card featuring Beautiful You. And we're going to use this gal on the beach. Now, the first thing that you want to do is you want to get a piece of scrap cardstock. This is not Stampin' Up. This is just Staples brand cardstock. And I cut that in half. And now what I want to do is I actually want to tear. I'm trying to make a little bit of a, not quite a mountain scene, but going to tear that. No right or wrong. I'm just going to take a look at it and see if I like the shape. Not bad. Let's just adjust it a little bit right here and bring that down there a little bit. Now, do I like that? Yeah, I think that will work. So that's the first thing you want to do with just a little piece of scrap. Okay, so now that we've got that cardstock torn, I'm just going to tuck my stamp pad under there. I'm going to take the lady, get her stamped using my Memento. I just want to make sure that I'm square down at the bottom. I'm going to grab my memento. Get that nicely inked. And I probably did not press this hard enough, is all that happened there. Let's give it a good massage. There we go. Now what I want to do, let that dry. I'm just going to set that aside and I will clean that after. Now in my stamp case, as you can see, my masks are already cut. So this is 1.5 inch circle. And here is a already cut mask of the same gal. So I stamped her on a piece of, not cardstock, on a piece of photo paper. Or you know what, maybe this is cardstock. But again, probably just the other half of my inexpensive Staples cardstock. Now what I want to do behind her is put a little bit of removable adhesive. Get my scrap paper out. Very important, because this is going to get a little bit messy. Now I want to cover her up, as well as removable behind my 1.5 inch circle. And I on purpose want her hand to be covered, because I want to try and give that some dimension. Now, I'm just gonna, this is lifting a little bit, so when I do start sponging, I just going to be careful that that I'm not letting my sponge go under. So when I sponge, I'm gonna hold it down. So let me go grab my sponges. Our girl masked, and now what I want to do is I am going to put my piece of scrap down, and I'm going to start by sponging the sky. So you always want to start with your lighter colors first, and remember that less is more. So I'm going to grab my So Saffron, and I'm going to hold this down, and I'm just going to start adding color to my sky. Holding down my masks at the same time. And it doesn't look like anything is happening, but it really is. I want to move away from her arm so I don't accidentally bend it in, and away from her leg. And I am not paying attention down here. And it's a sky, so you know what? There's going to be various colors coming through. I'm going to just set my crushed curry aside here. I'm not quite ready for it. I am going to grab my Mary Merlot and ink that up a bit. I want to pounce off. I don't want to be too dark. It's been a while since I've done this, so truth be known, I'm a little nervous. I am, not gonna lie. But you know, these cards always end up beautiful in the end. Let's get some rich razzleberry. Just to get it. I don't know if this is actually too dark. Just trying to make a sunset scene. Stay with me, don't leave, because you do want to see the reveal. You do, you do. I am going to pull in some Daffodil Delight.
Where is that sponge? Just because I want.
Stay with me. We're getting there. Just going to add a little more Mary Merlot into the sky. Okay, now we are going to flip. We're going to stay true to that line. And now we want water. So again, you want to remember that less is more. We don't want this too dark. And I am going to start with this more along the edges where the depth of color is going to be more there. So I am sponging on the edges, and then once my sponge is a little bit cleaner, keeping in mind I don't want to lift that leg, so I'm being careful there. My stamp pad's not very juicy, so having a little bit of a harder time getting some Night of Navy on there, but it's coming. It's a coming. Stay tuned for the reveal, because seriously, it is amazing. Now, you know what? We want to pull that sunset into the water a little bit as well. So, less is more. This leg is giving me action here. Crushed curry. I want a little bit more depth with my I am getting happy with that. It's looking good. I could have pasted her leg down a little bit better. Okay. Oh my goodness. I love this card. I gave this card several years ago because I created this several years ago. I gave this card to my daughter for her birthday, and she's extremely artistic. She's just a beautiful artist. And Mom, you made this? And I'm like, yeah. Anyway, what a compliment to get that from my daughter. I want to pull in a tiny bit more yellow right on top of all of that. I don't know if you can see, but I see a sunset happening across my water. Now watch this. There's my sky, there's my water. I'm going to leave her mounted on that. I'm going to grab my Whisper White. I'm I'm going to grab those waves from High Tide, and it is on my H block. Let's center that a little bit. Ink that up, keeping the girl down. I am adding waves to the water. Oh my goodness, I cannot wait to take these masks off and show you what we have. Close that up. So here is my sun. Let's remove the removable. And you know what? I'm going to keep her hand there on purpose. Now what I want to do is I want to grab my 1.5 inch punch. And now what we're doing is we're going to do a reverse mask. So I'm going to place that where no color happened. Grab my So Saffron. I don't want to bend her hand. And then I am going to take my Mary Merlot sponge, and I'm just going to put a few lines in there. And sometimes that happens, and then all I do is I move the mask. And actually, I wonder if I should be cutting my reverse mask just a smidge bigger. But I'm just filling in where that white happened. Pressing a little bit harder because I want to, and then I can just lighten that up a little bit where that white has come through. And I see that I should have done my sky a little bit darker. So you know what I'm going to do? I am going to put my mask back on the sun this way, and I'm going to add more color to my sky. So I'll be right back. So I have added more color to the sky, and now there's a little more depth between the sun and the sky. I'm going to remove the girl. Make sure that you take the removable ink off of her. Can you see that? Like, oh my goodness. And no card is going to be the same. So now what I want to do is I want to grab my blender pen. I think I am wanting her a little bit, oh, I'm undecided. What color should I do her dress? You know what? Maybe she's going to be in Rich Razzleberry. I've added a little more color to my sky. I grabbed my blender pen and I colored her in using Rich Razzleberry, and then also her arms and legs. And I forgot this one. I want to make sure that that's clean. I forgot that. Let's grab a little bit of petal pink, like just a smidge. Don't want it too dark. There. Now her skin is done. I adhered the panel that I just painted onto my Night of Navy panel, and I will also have all of the dimensions below. Just hit more and you'll see all of it. And I am going to stamp my sentiment here, just right on the card, and then adhere that using dimensionals onto my card base, and my card is done. It is so stunning, and you pull out a ton of color, but look at the end result. It's just beautiful, and no card will ever be the same because you will never get that sunset or the water the same. Now, you can have the water higher or lower. You can also, with this jagged edge, if you put her mask back on her, and if you put this just a little bit above the waterline, and then added a little bit more depth in the sky right here, you will end up with a little bit of a mountain scene. But you know what? I am so happy with this, and it reminds me of our lake. And so I'm just going to keep it clean, just like that. So she's walking on water. Take my card and actually, I'm going to go right in the corner here. Put my sentiment on there. I grabbed Free as a Bird, and your friendship means the world to me. And I'm actually not set up where I want to be. Here we go. I love my Stamparatus, especially when it comes to sentiments, because I am a stickler for a good sentiment. Now, in the midst of my mess, I wish you could see my table. Wow. I'm going to grab my memento. Your friendship means the world to me. We could all use a lot bit of that. I'm going to pull this down. I want it a little bit higher. There we go. Oh, I love my card. Way more inked on that side. I don't know how that happened. There we go. Love it. Love it. I sure hope you take the time to create this. Put it on my card base. And there she be. What a lovely card. I hope you enjoyed my post. Be safe, be encouraged, be smart, and be at peace. Have a blessed day, and thanks for popping by. Please subscribe to my post. I would so appreciate that. I hope you have a lovely rest of your day. Bye.